In 2019, if you saw someone carrying a Stanley tumbler, they were probably a construction worker. But by just 2023, they were everywhere. Target, Starbucks, every college campus. Take a look.
Absolute chokehold that these cups have taken over. I don't understand. This week, every person I see on my campus is holding one of those things.
What's the best purchase you've ever made?
Probably my $45 Stanley cup. This is actually my second one.
The company has been making the same basic product for over 110 years and suddenly became the hottest lifestyle brand on the planet. How does a thermos company that supplied construction sites become a must-have accessory for TikTok? To understand this phenomenon, we need to go back to 1913. The foundation, Stanley Cup's ruggedness. William Stanley Jr. founded the Stanley Electric Manufacturing Company. And this wasn't some cute lifestyle brand. This was serious industrial equipment. Stanley built their reputation on products that could survive anything. Thermoses that could be dropped from buildings, run over by trucks, and still keep coffee hot for over 24 hours. For decades, Stanley was the go-to for construction workers, fishermen, hunters, and military personnel. Their motto was built for life, with everything coming with lifetime warranties because their products genuinely lasted forever. The classic Stanley thermos was green, bulky, and looked exactly like what it was, a tool. No Instagram-worthy colors or influencer sponsorships, just function over fashion. And for nearly a century, that worked perfectly fine, with steady sales and loyal customers. But see, they were completely invisible to mainstream consumer culture. The slow burn, early change. The first signs of change started in the early 2010s. The outdoor lifestyle movement started to gain momentum. And people who weren't professional outdoorsmen wanted to look like they were. Brands like Patagonia were successfully selling outdoor gear to office workers, not just mountain climbers. Stanley started noticing something interesting. People were buying their products not just for work, but for lifestyle purposes too. The classic green thermos was appearing in Pinterest boards about cabin core and outdoor aesthetic. Lifestyle bloggers featured Stanley products alongside items that costed 3 times as much. But here's the key, Stanley wasn't actively courting this audience yet. This was just organic growth from consumers who discovered the brand themselves. The company was mainly still focused on industrial workers, but they were starting to pay attention to these new buyers who saw Stanley's rugged design as authentically cool rather than just functional. The pivot, recognizing the opportunity. Around 2016, Stanley made a crucial decision. They hired new leadership with consumer goods experience who understood lifestyle brands.
When I joined, I realized that this could be something that in the right hands with new colors, materials, and finishes could be something that catches the eye of a new consumer. And that is exactly what happened.
The company invested in marketing research to understand these new customers and found something fascinating. These weren't just outdoor enthusiasts. These were people who wanted to project adventure and authenticity, even if their biggest adventure was commuting to work. Stanley's rugged industrial aesthetic wasn't a limitation. It was an asset in a world of sleek, minimalist products. Stanley's chunky design felt refreshingly authentic. The company started to make strategic changes, and keep in mind, this is in 2016. This is still almost a decade before everybody and their grandma had a Stanley Cup. Updated their website with lifestyle photography, new colorways, but still kept their same basic design. And most importantly, thinking about their products as lifestyle accessories, not just tools anymore. But Stanley was careful not to abandon their core customers. They were just testing the waters and seeing if they could expand appeal without losing their identity. This cautious approach proved genius because when the explosion happened, they were ready. The Quencher revolution. Enter the product that changed everything. The 40-ounce Adventure Quencher Travel Tumbler. Stanley had made similar products before, but the Quencher was different. It was huge, 40 ounces, but still designed to fit in car cup holders. It had a handle for carrying, a straw for convenience, and classic Stanley durability. I don't know if I'm the only person who doesn't own a Stanley Cup, but I really wish I had one, especially for this video. But here's what made it special. It was Instagram ready. The size made a statement, the handle and straw made it practical for everyday use, and Stanley started to offer it in colors that had never been associated with the brand before, like soft pastels, traditional seasonal colors, and limited edition hues that looked nothing like the traditional Stanley green. The Quencher solved a problem that people didn't even know they had. It held enough water for the entire day, kept drinks cold, and looked good doing it. This wasn't just a water bottle, it was a lifestyle statement saying, I stay hydrated, I care about the environment, and have good taste. Stanley priced it for around $40 to $50. That's expensive for a water bottle, but not really for a lifestyle accessory. And see, this was crucial. It was high enough to feel premium and exclusive, but not too high to where it's inaccessible. The social media spark. The explosion for Stanley started quietly on social media around 2020. Lifestyle influencers and wellness creators started featuring Stanley Quenchers organically. These weren't some paid partnerships initially, creators just generally liked the products. The aesthetic was perfect for the clean girl movement and wellness culture that was dominating TikTok and Instagram. One of the first viral moments came from a TikTok creator's What I Drink in a Day video featuring her Stanley cup, where she showed filling it with different beverages throughout the day, and viewers became obsessed not just with the content but with the cup itself. Comments started to flood in asking where to buy it, what size it was, and if it really kept drinks cold all day. With Stanley's great reputation over the past century only helped when this started happening to the company, and also the algorithm took notice. TikTok started pushing Stanley related content to users who engage with lifestyle and wellness content. Hashtags like Stanley or Stanley Cup accumulated tens of millions of views, which content creators jumped on this trend daily, which that only shot Stanley up to the moon basically. Stanley's marketing team wasn't stupid. They saw what was happening and leaned into it hard. They started reaching out to the influencers who were already featuring their products, offering to send them new colors and new styles. But here's what was smart about Stanley's approach. They didn't just target the biggest influencers. They focused on creators who genuinely fit their brand aesthetic and had audiences that would actually buy their products. The partnerships felt authentic because they were built on genuine product love. Influencers weren't just holding up Stanley cups and reading scripts. They were integrating them into their daily routines and showing their audiences how the products actually worked. This created a level of trust that traditional advertising just couldn't match. Stanley also started to create limited edition colors, which you can see right here. People were going nuts. They were camping out for a Stanley cup. People were going nuts for these cups. They would send exclusive shades to creators before they were made available to the public, creating buzz and anticipation. Followers would see their favorite influencers with a new Stanley color and immediately want to know when and where they could get it. The company was also smart about diversifying their influencer partnerships. They worked with fitness influencers, lifestyle bloggers, working professionals, and even regular college students. This helped them reach different demographics and avoid being pigeonholed as just another wellness girl accessory. Now let's talk about the viral explosion. We talked about one of the first viral moments with Stanley, but let's talk about where Stanley just exploded, which was in 2022 to 2023. This timeline pushed Stanley from trendy to just absolutely everywhere. The real major viral explosion was when a TikTok creator posted a Stanley cup surviving a car fire.
Everybody's so concerned about if the Stanley spills, but what about if it melts? It was in a fire yesterday. It still has ice in it.
It was the only thing that survived the fire. That's crazy. Stanley's customer service team saw the video and not only replaced her cup, but went and bought her a whole new car. Stanley doing that kind gesture was a complete genius move because that moment went viral, only reinforcing the brand's reputation for quality and customer service. Now let's get into some of these really exclusive color drops that Stanley was dropping. They started selling really limited edition colors that would sometimes sell out within hours or even minutes, and even had some people camping out overnight at like Targets. I mean, people will camp out for literally anything if it's exclusive, but a cup? That's kind of just like overboard, I think. The scarcity created a frenzy that only fed itself. Resellers started flipping rare colors on eBay for 2 or 3 times the original price. The secondary market for Stanley Cups became a legitimate business for some people. The psychology behind this was fascinating. Stanley had accidentally created a collectible market. People weren't just walking into Target and buying one cup and another for their family member at home. They were buying entire collections. Different colors for different outfits, different seasons for different moods. The cups became both functional items and display pieces. Some social media feeds were filled with photos of carefully curated Stanley Cups, arranged by color and style. The cultural momentum at this point was just unstoppable. They started appearing in TV shows, movies, and celebrity photos. Having the right Stanley Cup color, yes, just the color, became a form of cultural currency among certain demographics. The psychology and lessons. To understand Stanley's success, we need to examine the psychological factors that made it possible. The phenomenon tapped into several powerful triggers. First was social proof. When people saw other people using Stanley Cups, they felt compelled to get one themselves. The limited edition strategy created artificial scarcity. The limited edition strategy created artificial scarcity, which drives urgency. The limited edition strategy created artificial scarcity, which drives desire and urgency. The collectible aspect satisfied human tendency to create complete sets. Once someone owned just one Stanley Cup, they felt motivated to collect other colors. And the social media aspect only provided social validation. Posting with the Stanley Cup became a way to signal membership in a certain lifestyle community. These cups became props for identity expression, communicating values and aesthetic preferences to social networks. Stanley's success offers crucial lessons for brands. First, authenticity matters more than ever. Stanley's growth was built on genuine product quality, which we've seen since 1910, over a century ago. I don't know why I'm pointing to my roof right now, but you sort of get the point. As well as they had organic enthusiasm. It wasn't just about paid advertising. Second is social media's power to drive consumer behavior is just unprecedented. Third is having a strong product foundation is essential. Stanley's success was built on decades of genuine product quality. Finally is traditional brands can reinvent themselves without losing their core identity. Whether you think Stanley Cups are a brilliant lifestyle accessory or an overpriced status symbol, there's just no denying that the company achieved something remarkable. They took a century-old consumer product and turned it into one of the most successful consumer launches over the past decade. The Stanley story is still being written though, as their success is not plummeting whatsoever. I hope you enjoyed this video though, and let me know if you have Stanley Cups. Do you have 1? Do you have 10? Do you have entire collections? I don't know. Let me know, and peace out.